If you want to grow on YouTube, you have to make a lot of videos. At least it's common advice. But let's put this to the test, shall we? So far, I've uploaded very sporadically, whenever I had some time. But I like to do experiment, and I wanted to know if there's something to having more videos in a row. So I decided to make daily videos throughout February on my D&D channel. Because honestly, the phrase 28 days of D&D just sounded way too good. But it was also an opportunity for me to grow as a creator. One of the big things I want to improve is my capability to go from idea to publishing faster. Because honestly, my list of ideas is just getting way too long. I was also curious if I can grow a channel by uploading daily and create more data points for myself as well as the algorithm. But first, what counts as an upload? And how can I do this for a channel where I still remain faceless? It would be easy to do 28 talking head videos or vlogs or something like that, but easy is boring, right? To answer the first question, it counts if I'm uploading it to YouTube. I thought about including all the various Instagram formats and maybe TikTok, but in the end, it felt like a cop-out to me. I want to grow a YouTube channel, so that's where I should upload. That means one video per day on YouTube, or short. The how seems painfully obvious to me now in hindsight. But before I started, I didn't have a go-to setup. I didn't have a dedicated filming space. Plus, I like to do a lot of crafting, which just takes time. It was only during a chat with my YouTube friend Wojtek, where I had the epiphany of setting a permanent top-down shot on my desk. There, I could film my hands while I'm talking, and if I needed, I could also do some screen recordings. The last part was to figure out if this was worth pursuing and doable 28 times in a row. Because quantity means nothing if there's no value for the viewer. The videos have to be informative, entertaining, or insightful. Ideally, I would hit all three of these, but if I just hit one of those aspects, there should be some value for the viewer. And they had to be short, both for myself and for the audience. 3 minutes sounded like a good benchmark to me. So on January 28th, I created a prototype and sent that to Kylie from Cantrips Media, the only other D&D YouTuber I personally know. And I asked her, is this informative, entertaining, or insightful? And would you want to watch more of this series? Luckily for me, she said yes and yes. So with that, the series was a go. Now, if you still have questions, you're not alone, so let's go over there. Because throughout the month of February, I posted on various platforms about my experience and asked if anybody had questions. Let's start with Instagram and Justin from Justin Espeo, good creator friend of mine. He wants to know, how do you edit faster? Well, I think editing faster starts with having a script. That really enables you to spend less time in the edit. Having some idea what you're talking is definitely gonna ease the editing workflow because you have less to cut out and less to match and all these things. And there's one more tip, actually, I'll show in a second. Let me just go over there. When you filmed a bunch of stuff, you wanna drag it in your timeline and you wanna make sure that you can see your waveform. That way, you can go in there and cut out all the bits that don't need to be in there. So yeah, when you have a lot of footage, especially talking head, look at your waveform, cut out all the bits where nothing is happening, and you'll have it trimmed down to a much more manageable size. Okay. With that, let's move on to Rania. She also has a YouTube channel, link in the description somewhere. How do you find the time? The thing is, I made the time. It sounds really like, I don't know, easy or like superficial, but really I committed this month to making those daily videos. Otherwise, if I try to do a job or do another project and do daily videos, those daily videos wouldn't be good. I am committed to making videos this month, and that is pretty much all I can do. So yeah, the answer is really, you don't find the time, you have to create it yourself. Francisca, good photographer friend of mine, is asking, how do you keep at it when energy or motivation is low and life is just a lot? That definitely happened. There was definitely phases where my energy was in the basement, but it kind of goes with the question before that there is a pre-made commitment to those videos. So I really have no choice. There was one single day where I didn't upload a video, and that was due to some stupidity of my own, but there were also just days where I didn't feel like it. And how did I overcome that? I think it's all the steps in the process that made me make those videos even if I had no energy. There's definitely certain points where I had a topic chosen for myself, and then on the day I was like, no, I'm not feeling this. What is something else? What is something easy? What is something I can do with zero effort or very low effort that is still worth putting out there? And overall, there's really one video that I am personally not happy with, and I think it shows in the metrics as well. And then I made a follow-up video to that I'm personally perfectly fine with. I think that is a valuable video to be there. The metrics again are not supportive of it, but that goes into another topic that I might talk about in the lessons and the metrics. That you can make something very clickable, but it doesn't mean people are gonna watch it. Let's move over to slow growth, my favorite creator community. And Joe Kelly from That Joe Kelly is asking, how polished is your daily content? If we're working solo and holding down a full-time jobs, it feels like daily needs to be speedy, down and dirty, and short. If so, does it still have value? I love that question. Does it still have value? I think to start at the end, yes. You can make something speedy and dirty and sort of rushed and unpolished, and it can still have value. It totally depends on your field. For me, I had the great benefit that this was my only commitment this month. I had no other projects going on that I had to focus on. So as filmmakers, as creative professionals, we put a lot of emphasis on having things look good. They have to be visually appealing. The sound has to be good. And you can still communicate valuable ideas in a gritty format, in shaky handheld footage, in talking to your phone. The content value can still be there. And I think if you want to try it, just keep in mind what is the idea that you want to communicate, and is that idea worth communicating? Andres says, we get that it will be a tiresome month for you. Yeah, more or less. But what pros have you found already? I mean, that goes into the whole, like, what did I learn? What did I get out of this experience? I'm at the end of it. I've definitely gotten better of riffing of bullet points. I mean, just the fact that I can set up this Q&A in like 10 minutes and be ready to film and feel super comfortable talking to the camera, huge win. The other thing, I've really become better at making thumbnails, or at least iterating on thumbnail ideas super fast. In the D&D space, most thumbnails are garbage. Like, just search anything D&D, garbage thumbnails. I have the goal I set for myself to have the most aesthetic D&D channel. So, ties back into Joe's question. I have to figure out how can I make an engaging thumbnail without using other people's images, which is quite common. This camera angle I cannot put in my meme face. What I found out is that you do want some kind of human element in there. That's when I started putting my hands into the thumbnails, and that really makes a difference. All right, I've been rambling on this question for a while. Oh yeah, I'm also part of the Adobe Creator community, and I got 2 questions over there. How do you avoid burnout while doing daily uploads? If you do experience burnout, how do you manage it? I think I did my best to prevent it by sort of spontaneously at the first weekend deciding, okay, Sunday will be shorts. Shorts I can pre-record, I can do the Saturday or the Friday before and upload, and so I don't have to worry about creating on Sunday. Having at least one day where you don't have to create a full video, whatever that means, is really helpful. What's the ratio of scripted and unscripted content? In the beginning, it was definitely like the whole page was the script and I would go off that. And then as further along I went into the process, it was much more, I need the beginning. I need to know, how do I frame this topic? Especially one of the last videos with the tier list, for example, there was no point in me scripting this. I was just like, here's the setup, and then let me go through the tier list and rank monsters. So yeah. Started off pretty heavily scripted and went to less and less and less scripted. But if you do script, at least script the first line so you draw the viewer's attention. Okay, Kylie from Can't Reach Me is asking, how is your subscriber count? And do you see any trends? Is editing easier? Did you film in bulk? With that, actually, let's look at the trends in more detail in the metrics. But before we begin, what are the metrics we care about? To me, that's subscribers, retention, and engagement. A little disclaimer. Before this experiment, I always had some kind of call to action in my videos, asking to share, like, or subscribe, all the good stuff. But intentionally, I did not do this during this series. I wanted to see what happened organically. I did one mini experiment where I did ask people to subscribe, but very quickly saw that it makes no difference whatsoever. So I stopped in order to just give value without asking for anything in return. I also didn't share those videos anywhere and just let YouTube do the work for me. Normally, I would post for this channel on Reddit and Facebook, which drives good traffic. But again, I just wanted to see what happens organically. In total, I created 23 videos, 4 shorts, and 3 community posts on YouTube. To top it all off, I added 6 reels on Instagram as well. And on January 30th, I had 480 subscribers, with a total of 7 videos and 2 shorts. And then on March 1st, I had 536 subscribers, which is a net total of 56. That means I broke 500 and gained access to the community post, which is really nice. But it is by no means explosive growth. And I have gotten a lot more subscribers before by doing absolutely nothing and just being blessed by the algorithm. So at least in the short term, there isn't a clear one-to-one connection of video quantity to subscribers. In terms of views, we got 200 views on the high end and on the low end around 30. That is excluding shorts. Seen in isolation, these numbers are relatively small, but keep in mind that it's with roughly 500 subscribers. So that's a decent ratio with around 40% of subscribers at the top end, and it shows me that I have a core audience of 30 to 40 people. When we talk about retention, we also have to talk about titles. And in general, I did my best to keep it human-centric and entice curiosity. I definitely played around with the title to see if I make it easier for people to click on them. And the answer is yes. But the more clickbaity the title, the lower was retention. Overall, my retention sits comfortably between 50 and 60%, which is a lot higher than for this channel, to be honest. And while some videos are absolutely stagnant, others are still growing and slowly developing a long tail. That is giving me insight on what topics are interesting to viewers, and I can expand on those in future videos. What's exciting about the engagement is that every video got comments, regardless if I asked for them or not. And I think I have a 100% like ratio on all of them, which I don't think that's very common on YouTube. So that does mean people enjoyed being part of this experience, and they did like the content. Now, a quick word on shorts. I've excluded them from the above metrics because shorts are weird. They're very erratic and I have not figured out what makes or breaks them. To me, they're absolutely impossible to predict, and so at least right now they're not part of my content strategy. Instagram Reels, on the other hand, seem to be a lot easier to spread to more people. What was really helpful to me was having somebody else doing this at the same time. And while I don't know Leafy personally or had any interaction with her, she was doing this at the same time as I was. She started a little bit earlier and went a little bit longer, but it was really nice having this daily buddy who was also uploading and gaining inspiration from her and seeing how she was tackling this challenge. There was also Jordan, the PH is Silent, who did a very similar experiment in the D&D space. And that really gave me confidence this is possible, and also gave me reassurance to keep going as I saw that his views also went down over time. Now to the final question. Did this grow my channel? I would say yes. And now I have 3 to 4 videos that continue to grow and are likely to turn into evergreen content. Plus, I definitely grew as a creator thanks to this experiment. It was basically a high-intensity training to speedrun a bunch of gains in my personal skill set. What was really crucial to me is having the right setup. This mic, a boom stand, and this old 6300 were the 3 pieces of kit that were crucial to this. Everything else was optional, but those tools really allowed me to create freely. It was super fun having somebody else doing the same thing at the same time. So thanks Leafy, I suppose. I'm not surprised that you changed your mind on daily videos. Because what I confirmed for myself is that doing one thing for a whole month is a long time. 1 week is fun, 2 weeks give you good data, 3 weeks become a chore, and after 4 weeks it becomes routine and either you stick with it or you don't. When I do this again, I would definitely make sure to have some pre-recorded stuff or integrate live streaming into the whole thing so I don't have to edit every single day. Because I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but I did make one video every day from start to finish. I tried batch recording, but that just didn't work for me. After this whole experience, I was really proud of myself for sticking with it, because there's way too many experiments that I've abandoned after a couple of days. But I'm also really ready to take more time again with projects and do more on this channel where you can see my face. The biggest negative impact I found, aside from just the stress of uploading daily, was that my phone usage really spiked and that I did develop quite a dopamine addiction. Because having this daily source of validation is something to be really aware of. Meditation does help with that. So in summary, I do think this is a worthy experiment, but don't expect your views to explode. One of them might gain traction, but all comparative data that I've seen shows that views go down over time. Just think about it. Is there any content that you enjoy every single day? If this is something you want to try, keep in mind that it is a commitment you have to make. Set yourself some boundaries, and you gotta find a way to remind yourself why you're doing this. How about that? I have a video for you next week.